行きましょう。
この世で俺にかなう者はいない。俺が宇宙最強だ。
Alright, fellas, so the time has come to go ahead and defeat Broly with no items with Cooler's Team LR Final Form Cooler. Now, at the point of recording this video, rather the footage for this video, right? So the footage and the commentary are separate. So the time of recording the footage, the LR Metal Cooler, nor the EZA for any of the, free-to-play coolers or the AGL Metal Cooler, none of that has happened, so obviously none of them are on this team. But obviously they will all fit in on Metal Cooler's team, so for sure. I would imagine they would all be on the 200% leader skill as well. Although I'm not entirely sure. Actually, now that I think about it, AGL Metal Cooler will not be on the 200% leader skill, right? He's not on Transformation Boost. For whatever reason, they don't count that core transformation as a transformation, right? They count it as a giant form and not a transformation, so he's not on Transformation Boost, which is actually kind of what a weird thing, right? He should just definitely be on Transformation Boost so he can fit on that leader skill. But anyway, I guess, potentially, some of them could have made it on the team, particularly the tech free-to-play Metal Cooler, depending on what they all do, right? So the one thing about doing these no-item runs, for sure, is all of them, you guys know at this point, they all require a fair amount of luck in terms of where, specifically for Broly, right, where he's super attacking is so important, right? It's so important. Because if he AoE supers you in the very first slot of turn 1, you basically, without items, you basically cannot survive. It's just like, unless you've got 3 units that can nullify beam supers, which are there even 3 units in the game that can? I don't know. You can dodge and counter supers, I guess. No, you can't, because you can't dodge Broly. So yeah, there's really not too many units in the game that can withstand the AoE Broly phase. I guess like Vegeta and Trunks, of course, like over on JP and such, they can. LR Janemba is one who can. But again, it really matters. So why it matters so much is so many units, and LR Final Form Cooler is definitely one of them. He gets so much defense upon super attacking, it's not even funny. Especially him, right? It's not even funny. So if Broly, instead of supering, doing his AoE super, if he does that in slot 3 or even in slot 2 after Cooler has super attacked, you're good to go. He will take no damage, basically. So you can afford, generally speaking, if you're using a powerful enough team, you can generally afford for 1 unit to take some damage, right? If 1 unit takes 300k, and then the other 2 units are taking, 4-digit or 5-digit damage, you can generally survive that at least. Just because some of these teams, most teams you're running are well over 600,000 HP. How much HP does this team have? Yeah, 650,000 HP. You can certainly beef up the HP on this team a little more if you just use more LRs. So speaking of some of the other units, I talked a lot about the units we were using in the Omega Shenron video. And a lot of them are similar, but I did do a couple of different options here. So number 1, I did not want to bring LR Full Power Frieza. It's risky enough bringing 2 STR units, the leader of the team, in Final Form Cooler, right, is, of course, Extreme STR. Guess what? AGL Broly is AGL, and he hits ridiculously hard, and he can super attack twice. There's basically, unless you've got a mega, just Omega level power, beyond Omega level powerful unit that's STR, you can't really bring them in here. You just cannot. They can't withstand a super attack from Broly. I mean, and I guess, in fairness, not many units can. That AGL Broly phase does a lot of damage too. But this, the coolers can at least withstand normal attacks. So, really no issue going against AGL Broly unless he supers, right? And then unless he gets the 6 super attacks, I think undoubtedly he's toast, right? So we brought him a couple of different units we brought. Did not want to bring a third STR unit was the whole point of that monologue there. But a couple of different units we brought. We brought this Tech Final Form Cooler. One of the big advantages of bringing a unit like Tech Final Form Cooler, number one, he's Tech, as I just mentioned. You don't want to bring a lot of STR units. Bringing Tech units, you can bring, I don't want to say any Tech unit, but any Tech unit that can, like, that has a decent amount of defense and can raise defense on super, you're pretty well safe to bring. I mean, some Tech units can still take a lot of damage, right? But again, Tech Final Form Cooler. So he's Tech. That definitely bodes well for him. He can triple super. He builds up, you know, his passive. He's like a mini LR Cooler, basically, right? But he also stuns on super attack, which is not very useful in the final 2 phases. But in the first phase, that STR Broly, the base form Broly, you can stun him. So being able to nullify any damage by getting a lucky stun is really, really handy. And being able to triple super, you know, having that potential to stun on super, very handy. Even a unit like AGL Turles, if you can hide him well enough, you could easily include him even on a no-item run team. You would just really have to get past this Tech Broly. So speaking of Broly, here's another unit I decided to include. But let's watch this active skill turn from Cooler first.
弟のように甘くはない。一人に漏れず根絶やしにしてくれる。この星の塔。
Before I get into INT Broly, decided to not do the Janemba active skill here, by the way, just on the off chance he doesn't crit. He would just do nothing. It would basically benefit us in no way. So, but this active skill by Cooler, I have no way of proving it indefinitely, but I have a very strong inclining that he just nullified a super attack from Broly. So often does this STR Broly do his AoE in slot 1. I don't know what the actual percentages are, but if y'all have played this stage enough, you guys know, like, he supers, it seems like every single time, dude. Slot 1, turn 1, super attack, you're dead. Like, that's usually how it goes when you fight Broly. You get to this phase pretty easily, and then you just get shit-wrecked in 1 second, right, from an AoE from Broly. But yeah, Cooler, getting that nullification there, you know, the fear mechanic with the break mechanic, whatever you guys call it, I'm pretty sure that won us the whole entire game, because this AoE Broly does not have a ton of health. You know, Cooler's going ham right now. This is a 90% friend Cooler, maxed out, you know, level 10 big bad bosses, max links in general. So him going ham like that was really, really nice. I don't think Janemba nor INT Broly finish it off for us, but it will allot us some more time to stack up, I think, with the other Cooler. I forget how that kind of went down. I guess we'll go ahead and find out. But speaking of Broly, man, INT Broly is definitely a unit you want to include on your team when you're running extreme class teams. I would wager you could probably get this done with a double INT Broly. Probably you could. INT Broly is one of these units that he just has so much value for this Broly fight. So he's got 18% damage reduction. He's got an 18% chance to crit. And then after he super attacks, he gets an additional 18% damage reduction. So that is so ridiculously helpful. For some dumb reason, I'm leading off with AGL Golden Frieza. I mean, looking back on it now, this is an incredibly risky move. I should not have done that. I should have let off with Cooler. Leading off with Cooler also would have guaranteed, because he didn't super in slot 1 there, it would have guaranteed that I would have stacked up one more time, you know, his attack, right? So we would have been doing more damage to the AGL, the final phase of Broly. I don't know why I did that, but hey, I mean, we got the no-item run, right? I guess it didn't matter. But yeah, man, INT Broly, one of these units, he does have the active skill as well. I don't think we were able to get it here. Oh, hold on. So INT Broly is one of these units that has this shitty, you know, 4 super attack active skill condition, which is very bad unless you're STR Cooler, who can super attack 6 times in a turn, there's really nothing good about it, right? The only chance you'd ever have of getting it is if you're running Broly on rotation for some amount of time, right? Because him just floating around on this team, it's not really good enough when he's only... This was very nice, by the way. I decided to use this rage mode. This is exactly why I saved it. Because this Broly, dude, his super attacks are just devastating, right? They do just gobs of damage, right? They take you from 0 or 100 to 0 easily, right? So if you really think about it, man, INT Broly, so he needs to super... If he's getting, let's just say on average, he's getting 2 super attacks, right? So he gets 2 super attacks. Let's just say you get him turn 1. He doesn't come back around until turn 4. And then, like, what, turn 9, maybe? And this is assuming you can get 2 super attacks per turn, right? Very nice additional super attack there from Janemba. Guaranteed crit, right, when he gets the additional super. Very, very good. So, so we can kind of move on from Broly. Shitty active skill condition. What else is new, right? Nothing we didn't know already. But Fizz Janemba, I think he really had a chance. This was so lucky, by the way. This is the kind of shit you need for no item runs, right? Cooler is in no danger at all. I don't care that the tech cooler on the end there isn't getting any links. He's going to defend well enough, for sure. He's going to defend well enough. Even if he takes a super attack, we would not die because we have full health here, right? This is very good. I don't think I really dropped to a low amount of health at all. And a big, big piece of that was LR Fizz Janemba. LR Fizz Janemba, dude, I believe he got the nullification already once in the video against the STR phase of Broly. So clutch, dude, the way that he does that. The 50% chance to nullify beam super attacks is so strong. It's one of the... It really is one of... When people talk about... There it is. Dude, he just saved us, I don't know, 400k damage or more for, like, this is why Fizz Janemba is talked about in such a positive light. Fizz Janemba, the way he has got that 50% chance, I wish it were a little higher than 50%, but you know, at least it's 50%. It's still really good. Chance to nullify, not even a dodge, it's a nullification of a beam super attack. That is so insane against a unit that cancels dodge and just does devastating damage on super attacks. He is absolutely just built different, and he is absolutely built to defeat this Broly for sure. If we can get one more super attack with Cooler, I think we wouldn't have taken any damage right there. Considering that's no links active, that's pretty good from Tech Cooler. You gotta take that. At this point, we're low-key kind of out of the woods. Like, we haven't got the W quite yet, but after we got that big nullification from Janemba, and knowing what so if we can do some decent damage with Cooler on this turn, if INT Broly can maybe give me 2-3 super attacks and do some good damage, obviously AGL Golden Frieza ain't doing damage for us. It is, again, possible we did nullify one of Broly's super attacks right there. It is possible, and we don't know. He wouldn't have done a ton of damage to AGL Golden Frieza, but he would have done, 100,000 probably. So he saved us. I'm just going to go ahead and say there's no way you can prove one way or another that he did or didn't. Now, we are so late in the fight right here. It just completely made sense for me to do this. Now, it's a little risky. I mean, you got to take risks in a no-item run for sure. I feel like it's real easy to stick Frieza in slot 1 right there. But I thought it was going to be a much better idea if I stuck INT Broly, only taking 1 attack pre-super attack. I thought that it was the better decision. And then AGL Golden Frieza can just eat up all those attacks in the middle slot. That was kind of my strategy. And again, if Broly can get me 2-3 super attacks, which, is he going to get me 1 more at least? No, he got me 3 normals. That's such bullshit, dude. This is why that's still good. That's still good. 17k against Broly is very good. But that's why his active skill condition is absolute bullshit. It should have just been a set number of attacks. You could have just said 5 attacks, right, instead of 4 super attacks. Because you'll get 5 attacks way faster than 4 super attacks from him, generally. Like 95% of the time. So, Now, this was kind of scary because as strong as Cooler is, you know, him only getting 2-3 supers, I don't think he can survive AGL Broly in a super attack. I really don't. And this is probably the lowest HP we've had the whole entire fight. But look at this right here. We're activating Metamorphosis a bunch of times. So we got a ton of HP back right there. So we're sitting pretty, dude. Like, this is, like, we're in very good position here. Again, just doing decent damage to this Broly is going to be very, very important. So we're rocking well over 300k there with STR Cooler. Fizz Janemba can, again, he's going to get the Dokkan attack here, completely comfortable with that. He's not going to put up an insane attack stat. It's going to be like in the 4 or 5 million ballpark range. But that, I mean, that's exactly why right there. Double digits against this guy. It just, you can't really ask for too much more. And then, of course, his beam nullification that I've, you know, been talking about for the last 5 minutes, of course. So one other facet to these no item runs with the 200% leader skills is a lot of these teams, like, are fairly limited. If you want to utilize the actual 200% piece of the leader skill, they are fairly limited. Big time crit there on the Dokkan attack. That was another clutch moment right there. So that is just one thing, is you're going to see a lot of the same units being used. It just is what it is, baby. There's another nullification, dude, from Janemba. And then a 12.5 million attack stat from Cooler. Oh, and by the way, guaranteed at least one coming in. But more than likely, he's going to get more than one here. Does Cooler get the dub? If we get one more crit, I mean, Broly's dead, obviously, for sure. Do we end it right here? Is this it? This is the dub right there. The no item run in the books, right? So the only exception to that rule of the very limited team building is the Vegeta and Trunks team. You can basically run whoever the hell you want on that team. So, but guys, we get the no item run done against Broly with Cooler's team. Kind of scary, but overall, it was a pretty clean run. Slap a like for this team and this video. Subscribe if you are new. I love you guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Later.